What's going on, everybody? It has been a long time since I've been back here. Um, it was a whirlwind of things from July on to here. For those of you who don't know, I went down pretty hard for the last month and a half. I've had a lot of personal medical issues, not COVID. Don't want to spend too much time getting into that. It's not really relevant, but for those of you who care. Definitely throw out some prayers for me over the next couple of weeks, and maybe having some surgery. Who knows? Maybe not. We'll just have to see how the tests go, and ruling out of some certain things. But just keep me in your thoughts, keep me in your prayers. Don't worry too much. I'm a fighter. I'm pretty tough. Definitely hard to kill, so we should be fine. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now, and I know the majority of people are kind of taking aim at these things first. So I figured we'd get a couple things out of the way. Those things I was writing down before: vaccines, my body, migrants, and politics command our headlines. We'll spend a few minutes on that stuff. Just so we can get it out of the way and get it out of our system, because I really would like to focus on some other things. And I'm going to package this up all together. It's very trying time right now, and it's not 100% related to the pandemic. It's not related to 100% the legislation that's being levied. It's not the politics that are going on. It's a lot of everything. And, I just want to encourage you in these times. Don't turn into a spiteful person. Don't shame each other. Don't be rude. I mean, this is the time to be kind and show love and go out of your way to help people. Not put them down. I hear some people saying, "Oh, if you're not vaccinated, you should go to the end of the line at the hospital." I'm like, for those of you who scream humanitarian efforts all the time, that's not very humanitarian. At the same time, for those of you who've been vaccinated and wind up back in the hospital, I'm sure you aren't very happy with the results of that. But the point is that we live in a free country, guys. And what that means is that you are free to do whatever you choose when it comes to the liberties and freedoms that you're extended. There's nothing more true than, your freedom to choose whether or not to do these things. Now, there are a lot of restrictions being rolled out. Personally, I believe the government should stay the hell out of this stuff. It's not the government's job to mandate a lot of these things. They can put things out there that'll help us, but again, it's our decision to do those things. So whatever you choose, good on you. I'm not going to shame you for what you decided to do. I just ask that you be kind and not shame other people for having different opinions, because we've all had different opinions since the beginning of time. It's nothing new now. We're just not handling it well. If we really wanted to be productive and constructive in this whole, paradigm, if you will, would be to go look in the mirror and ask yourself where you can do better. Because if all you're doing is just spending your time putting other people down, you're not using your time well. And if all you're doing is looking up reasons for you to be right, you're not using your time well. There's so many things that you can be doing right now to make the world a better place, and breaking other people down isn't one of them. So, if you advocate against bullies, then don't be a bully. If you advocate against, treating people poorly or people in power that have acted poorly, don't be the same as them. That's about all I got to say is don't be a hypocrite right now. Be welcoming, be kind, be loving, extend a hand, try to help people. Don't break them down. That's all I have to say about that. The second is I really wanted to get into this. I mean, we're doing a promotion right now with 911. Started off for today. I'm going to extend it into the rest of the week. If you guys are watching, send me a DM. Like, it's literally this simple. It's not complicated. Just send me a DM. Tell me that you want 911. I will give you a code that gives you a pretty handsome discount on the product so that you can try it for the first time. I really, really would like for you to try it. So I'll put my money where my mouth is. If you guys have not tried it and you'd like to try it, we're taking a pretty steep discount off of this. I'm not going to tell you what it is here. You got to, go to the website or send me a DM and I'll tell you what it is. So you got to do a little bit, but it's hardly lifting a finger. And we'll make sure that you get some 911 to try. It's really, really important to me that you guys get a hold of this stuff because we're coming around. You're getting ready for the holidays. You guys are going to be doing all kinds of stupid stuff, putting lights up and going and chopping down trees and, being the lumberjack badasses that you all are. You're going to have some pain. There's a downside to some of that stuff, being on your feet all day, joint pain, knee pain, stuff like that. So get ahead of it and save some money while you're at it. Plan ahead for a change and get this stuff taken care of. And, they also make great stocking stuffers and, we can pretty much put it in that price point now. So take advantage while it's there this week. So I really wanted to get into having a discussion about entrepreneurship today. I think that there is a stigma related to being an entrepreneur. I think that there's a lot of people who look at entrepreneurs today and say, you claim to be an entrepreneur, but you really don't do anything. Or I remember when I first started out, people would say stuff like, oh, well, you don't really own a business because you just have somebody else make a product for you, even though I designed it and formulated it. I did all the chemistry and all the testing and just sent them the recipe. But, so I'm paying somebody else to make a product for me. I didn't really have my own business. Or, I hear a lot of these guys that start off their stuff. I've got friends that have car detailing companies. I have friends that are starting up concrete companies, logistics companies, their own accounting practices, their own private equity firms, their own, a whole multitude of things. And I think it's awesome. I really do. I feel like all these people who come up with new ways to innovate or new ideas or old ideas that are still needed in trades. I mean, guys, trades are so important. If you're without work, look into trades. There's nothing wrong in a lot of cases. You can get a trade job that pays better than a college degree job. So don't sell yourself short. There's lots of work to be done right now. But anyway, entrepreneurs, I think in a lot of ways get a bad rap. There are a lot of bad apples, and entrepreneurship is not easy. But really where this is coming is you guys have kind of watched my journey a little bit. I know some of you don't always participate or engage, but I'll run into some of you at the grocery store, or you hit me up on a DM or something, or give me a call out of the blue and say a variety of things. But what I've noticed is a lot of people lately have been like, man, it seems like you're doing so good. And I just wanted to say, there are good days and bad days. There are good months and bad months. Entrepreneurship is very much like a square dance, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, 2 feet out, 1 foot in, 2 feet in, 1 foot over here and 1 foot in another square. It's always something. So, take, for example, this last month and a half, I've been unable to work. It sucks because I haven't been able to get on and do these things. I haven't been able to run a lot of promotions. I haven't been able to, drive a lot of extra traffic or work on my craft or do a lot of things that are important to the daily sustainment of my business. And that's in stark contrast. Well, you guys get sick, you take your PTO and you stay home. In the entrepreneurship world, we don't have that luxury. If we aren't working, we're not making money unless we're very well established and, down the line. But at that point, you're more classified as a long-term business owner than you are so much an entrepreneur, even though you still are. I think that, people don't look at you so much as an entrepreneur as they look at you as somebody who once was and is now very successful in what they do. But I don't, that's a term we can debate on later. I don't think it's that important. I think that what I'm really getting at is there's a lot of downside to this stuff. And not a lot of people are brave enough to share their failures. So I really wanted to get out and kind of share a couple of things that have gone wrong for me that, may give that one person who's really thinking about quitting a reason not to today. Because today could be the last day that you struggle. Tomorrow could be the day that you get the phone call that somebody wants to order, the biggest order you've ever had, or wants to give you a bunch of money to go do a new project, or wants you to partner with them on something else. You never know what's coming around the corner. So, I look at it as entrepreneurship is sort of a two-part journey. On the one hand, you've got to have faith. You have to have undying faith that even in the darkest times, that things are going to work out. Because if you don't, you're not built for this. You don't have the stomach for this, and you should probably go find a 9 to 5. The other is some no quit in you, the faith to keep going, and the no quit to make sure that you keep going. They've said it 100 times. You only fail when you quit. As long as you don't quit, you don't fail. You may suffer for a really long time, and you probably should quit. But at the end of the day, if you don't quit, you're getting that much closer to succeeding. And anybody who's ever succeeded will tell you that they failed 100 times before they're ever successful. You fail more than you win, period. It's just when you win really big. So you've got to stay in it long enough to make that journey. So I just wanted to share a couple things with you that I think, enough time has passed, I can safely share those things. So there's two things that I really wanted to get at in the first place. And the first one goes back to when I first started this business. I partnered with an individual who is still to this day one of my favorite people in the whole world. He's a fantastic mentor and the most incredible human being. And we got off to a really fast start. We attracted the attention of quite a few people, and I sought out marketing help for 911 in order to get some help in social media, to bolster my marketing efforts, and sort of lessen this curve of learning that I had to do. And I was jumping into this because when I got into this, I had no idea what I was doing. I'd been in sports nutrition for maybe a year. And I'd been out of the Marine Corps for 8.5 years, and I'd been doing DoD consulting for 8.5 years. So I was not a salesperson. I didn't know what I was doing, and I needed help. So I went and I found this group, and my partner was iffy about it, but he wanted to kind of let me go where I wanted to go with this. So gave me enough rope to hang myself, but not enough to die, I guess you could say. But anyway, we went through this process, and these guys are very good salesmen. I would give them that. They definitely made it seem like they had all the answers to everything I ever needed. And the day that we signed on the piece of paper, I found out not only they have no experience in social media, but the person they gave me to run social media didn't know how to do social media, didn't know how to do any of this stuff, she didn't know half of what I knew, and I was trying to hire up, not down. So this brings into importance the idea of making sure that you have a good lawyer. So this turned into a pretty ugly situation. These are guys that were obviously trying to acquire my company. It became obvious after the fact, but they were trying to acquire my company because they had a company who they were trying to raise a bunch of money for. And by acquiring my company, it made their company look like it was making money. And because it made their company look like it was making money, they were able to get a bunch of money. But I started noticing some anomalies. I started looking at the bank account, and there's money going in and out of it in some funky ways. There was obviously the issue of, dishonesty when it came to their capabilities. But the saving grace of the whole situation was that at 3 months, we hit a point where they had not fulfilled their obligations and their initial contributions, as it's stated. And because of that, we were able to void the contract. So that was get out of jail. I don't want to say get out of jail free, but that was our first real close call with, being in the business for 5 months and getting shut down. But that hit us pretty hard. We had to take a good 4 or 5 month hiatus, just, on the careful end to make sure these guys aren't going to do anything shady like they had already been doing. And so once we kind of cleared that, I was able to reach back out to the old accounts that I had, some of the old customers. Unfortunately, we got the majority of them back. We got off to the races again. Got running pretty well, and we had some COVID stuff happen and pivoted away from that. The other blunder, I guess I would say, that's really been painful was And I may not be ready to tell that story. I think that I don't like bashing people, and I don't want to make this into a bashing other people. Granted, I'm not going to tell you who these people are. I'm not going to drop their names because I don't believe in slander and things like that. But yeah, you know what? Let's just shift into the next topic. So, I think that, let's look at that, for example, and that kind of brings to light an issue of mental health and entrepreneurship. Um, when these things are happening and you have a baby of your own and it's your livelihood and you go and you trust somebody and they sign a piece of paper promising they're going to do something, and then the next day you wake up and find out they can't. It's a frightening feeling. It's, you're wondering what's going to happen, what's going to happen, what's going to happen. Those of you who aren't lawyers know what I'm talking about. Until you've had a couple run-ins, you don't know what's going to happen when legal issues come up. I've been very fortunate. I've been very fortunate with the attorneys that I've used and have had that they either structured contracts the right way or had experience in dealing with certain things like these. But the mental aspect of it, having to shut down your business and not make any money for 5 months or longer than that, is scary. Especially when maybe don't have a lot of money. There's been times in this business where I have come close to zeroing shit out. I've probably taken this company into the negative a couple times, to be honest. But you learn from those things. That I never went so far bad into, any kind of situation that I couldn't bounce out of it. And I'm very fortunate that I've had people, such as my initial partner with this, that taught me and allowed me to make mistakes and learn from them. I mean, I think that's one of the most valuable things. But I punish myself a lot. I'm very hard on myself. So I could get very, very depressed very quickly from the day-to-day ebb and flow of the organization. So it's just really important. I started doing a lot of things. Like I started studying Tony Robbins. I started studying, now I'm reading a book by Craig Groeschel called Divine Direction, but I also read, I think 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, How to Write Good Copy. I mean, I love books. You all read them. Crushing It, all that stuff. I read all those books. And some of these virtual seminars, and then I've taken endless marketing courses and stuff like that. And the most helpful thing was actually a book called High Performance Habits. And what it talked about was that most successful people set an alarm. So every 50 minutes, they take a 10-minute break. And what that does is, number one, it allows them to not get burnout. Number two, it allows them to break intention, kind of shake stuff off, let their brain get a break, and then come back 10 minutes later and reset intention. So the importance behind that is that to say that you're working on a task, right? And you're on a roll, and usually you wouldn't want to stop. But if you go, scientifically speaking, if you go for 50 minutes and then take a 10-minute break and come back, it's almost like starting fresh again. If you run 3 hours through that thing and take a 30-minute break, that 30 minutes really isn't going to be enough time for your brain to recuperate, recharge, all that stuff. Assuming you get some food, now you're going to have to wait for that to digest before things normalize. So it's really important just to keep that rhythm, just like you would if you were trying to speed up your metabolism and you're trying to keep food in your system. You're constantly feeding your brain good stuff, but then also backing off and letting it process it and catch up and everything like that, and then dive back in. Lets you reset intention. In other words, come back and recommit to the task that you're doing. So that, number one. Number two, listening to your body. You've got to be aware of how hard you're running yourself. And on top of that, if you have a bad diet or you're not sleeping well, or you're doing drugs or you're drinking a bunch, or you're just generally not doing what you should be doing to take care of yourself, all these things are going to hang out even further. They're going to get worse. So you need to clean up the stuff that's messy. Number one. Number two, make sure that you have a plan. And number three, blinders are your best friend. In business, it almost takes you back to high school, or middle school or elementary school or whatever. You dealt with this stuff, but it takes you back to a place where you're worried about what other people think of you. You're worried about how other people are doing in comparison to you. And that's a slippery slope in a dark room. Most of the people aren't, number one, nobody's doing the same business as you. They may be in the same space. They may be in the same industry. They may be making similar stuff, but nobody's making what you're making. Nobody's marketing what you're marketing. Everything's different. That said, why are you going to compare yourself to somebody that's apples and you're oranges? All it does is push back on your mental health. It makes you, especially if they're doing better or they've been in it longer, or especially if you can't see past the surface. Because again, there's a lot of people that are looking at me going, oh man, you're killing it. And while I ain't doing bad, I got a long way to go to be where I want to be. My goals are sky high. I have a lot between the sky and here to accomplish, but I'm not satisfied. And if you're satisfied, I think it's probably time for you to find something new to do. But point being is mental health, you have to balance it by, having a plan for what you're doing. You have to not be worried about what everyone else is doing. Because the time you spend worrying about other people is time you can be spending working on your own shit. And if you're working on your own shit, then your shit's going to be shit. Sorry for all the shits. So, for me, cannabis was always how I balanced. I got out of the Marine Corps in 2009. I didn't really smoke a lot when I got out, but I always had some on hand. And most of the time I would smoke before bed because that was the time when my mind would drift to the dark places. And that wouldn't have anything to do with entrepreneurship. I wasn't an entrepreneur at that point. When I first got out of the Marine Corps, I had nightmares, night sweats, night terrors. It was rough. I didn't tell anybody. And fortunately, I wasn't the screaming type, so my roommates never heard anything. But, it was a struggle. I still sleep, dude. I didn't sleep good then. I don't sleep good now. But I turned to cannabis for that, and it really helped me. And then when I would have anxiety, it really helped me. A lot of people are like, oh, it kills so many brain cells, is a negative aspect on your brain. Well, yeah, you know what? But, at least I'm alive and off myself. At least I didn't kill myself. So I may have a slower brain activity at certain times in my life because of it, but, at least I'm here. And that's not at least you have me here. It's, I'm glad I'm here. I don't put my value in your opinion. I don't, quite frankly, care if you want me here. I want me here. So anyway, that's the way I balance it, is cannabis. And that's why I'm in the cannabis space, because I believe that it's medicine. I believe that it helps people. And I believe that it works better than anything that we have. Of all the medicines and everything that we have, the one thing that, we all know can combat cancer is cannabis. We know it can combat anxiety. We know it can combat nausea. We know it can combat tumors. We know that it can reverse cellular degeneration, and on and on and on. What does alcohol do for you guys? Make you feel better? Yeah. Make you feel better when you're sitting in a jail cell? Killing somebody when you're driving? Make you feel better when you get in a fight at a bar, embarrass yourself over a girl who belongs to somebody else? Yeah, guys, I gotta be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of alcohol. I think it's bullshit that alcohol is legal and weed's not. Fight me. But anyway, I'm kind of getting off topic here. I'm trying to convey my point of why I went into cannabis, why it's been a struggle. There's a lot of cutthroat people in this industry. There's a lot of good people in this industry too. Fortunately, COVID has done us all a service and helped to drive a lot of those people out. There's still a lot of bad apples, but in my opinion, not nearly as many, or they do a much better job of hiding. But I think I want to just kind of turn to a little bit more positive outlook. So the content pivot that's going to come from a lot of these things that I'm doing now is going to expand, still including CBD. We're going to expand this into health and fitness. That's really kind of the other half of my passion. And I'm no guru, but I've been around this space for so long. I was a trainer for a while. I studied under some of the best people in the business, both, officially as like a paid course and also as a mentor or a mentee under some IFBB pros and some people who are extremely talented in the ways of body modification, knowledge of the body. And training as well is something that's been very, very, very ingrained in me. Some influence in that department has been Paul Chek, Jeremy Goko, Ira Potak, Aaron Garza, Tank Moore, Nemo, Ryan Thayer. A lot of these guys had a lot to do with not just my love for that sport, but also my mentorship in that space that brought me up and taught me more and more things and pushed me and gave me that those goals to chase after. So I guess I just have a couple questions, man. First of all, let me back up because I haven't even checked to see if we have a couple comments on here. Yes, I was just got a couple points. But we haven't really got to the 911 side of things. So we'll stay home. But, I would say like the hardest thing about being an entrepreneur has been the family dynamic. Some of you guys are very lucky and you have a big family that supports whatever you do and doesn't question it. My family, for the most part, has been extremely supportive. There's a couple people that, you always look at and you're like, I wish they would show their support a little bit more. You've always got those people, and I'm just going to go ahead and get into it. Like, you guys see these people who run small businesses on Facebook and they post these posts and it's like, don't ask your small business owner friend for a discount, right? So I want to kind of like talk about that. We got this idea, and it's a good point. Like, you guys are going and spending hundreds of dollars with Nike and not getting a discount with them, but you're going to your buddy who's flat ass broke trying to earn a living and asking for a discount. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Granted, you may trust Nike better. They've earned your trust and your friend hasn't. And so you're asking for what you perceive to be the value on that. But if you're going to be like that, just don't bother them. It's an insult. These guys are trying to make something of yourselves, and you're telling them essentially that they're not good enough. That's what the whole point is. It's not about necessarily the dollars and the cents. It's about your support and how it's shitty. It's fine. If you don't want to spend the money on somebody's product, don't. It's not going to take offense to that. When you hit them up and you're like, hey, you priced your product at $30 and I only think it's worth $12. So how about a discount? I would just politely tell you no, but I know plenty of people who would say a lot more than that. And it's just, if you're not going to support the business at the price that it is, then just don't. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Nobody's going to shame you for it. It's just, it'd be like somebody doing that to you. I mean, put yourself in their shoes and see how you would like it. Not everybody has a lot of extra cash to start up. You may be asking somebody to spend their last dime, and you have absolutely no point in helping them. You have absolutely no point or no intention to share it with anybody or tell somebody else about it. If you ask them for something like that, you ask me for something like that, I might respond back and be like, sure, I'll give it to you for half price after you bring me 3 new customers. But, that's, again, some people don't know that. These guys are are naive when they first go into this stuff. So you might take advantage of them. So don't be that guy. Again, you do not have to buy shit from your business owner friends, period. But if you're going to, don't ask them for a fucking discount. I run enough sales. Just keep an eye out. You see a sale, go after it, but don't ask me for a discount. I just won't answer you. The other thing is partnerships. I'm watching and talking with a lot of people lately. Some people offering equity, some people offering, full-on partnerships. And there's the one thing I want to say for those of you who are getting started in your business or doing something like that. Avoid equity plays at all costs. Avoid debt at all costs. There's a fine line that separates the two, but do everything you can not to give up part of your company. I mean, that ultimately, and here's why. You don't want to give away so much of your company now that when you actually grown and have employees, you don't have anything to give them. I mean, you may run into a situation at some point where another COVID hits and you don't have the cash. So you need some way to offer a value to your customers or your employees to get them to stay. And that might be an equity play. It might not be much, maybe like 1%, or 0.12% or whatever it is. But, there's times you may need something like that, or you may need to raise money at a tough time. And if you give it all away on the front end, you're not going to have anything on the back. Furthermore, the more you give away, the less you're going to get in the end, whether you hold on to it or whether you sell it off. It's not going to be what it once was. So guard that with your life and find alternative solutions. Listen, guys, it takes a while to build capital. Those of you who are, in business for a year and you're pissed off that you don't have any money, most of these guys, I look at, one of my favorites is Andy Frisella. That guy's been in business for 20 years, 15 years at least. And, only in the last 5 years has he really, really started to spread it on. 10 years to build and learn and establish systems and, learn how to hire people, learn how to fire people, learn how to recruit better talent, learn how to empower your employees, learn how to grow your employees and grow your business. It's, when you start as an entrepreneur, you're not starting as a leader, you're starting as a learner. And over the course of that time, you only become a leader once you're having success. And having that success, you're only a good leader, if you can replicate that success. And if you don't invest in your employees, you're not going to be successful. So I'm really dancing all over the place. So I want to dial it back. I really just missed you guys and wanted to get out here and talk a little bit more. But again, I am going to foot stomp this. Right now, if you go on Facebook or Instagram and DM me directly, I will give you a special code to go to 911 Roll On and try it for savings you've not seen. That is 911rollon.com for savings you have not yet seen. Try it ahead of the holidays. I promise you, once you get your hands on this, it's going to be something that, and then this is another one. Do you remember what it was like before, when you were younger, when you didn't hurt as much, when you could sleep at night and wake up in the morning and your whole neck wasn't stiff or your back wasn't stiff, or you bent over to tie your shoes, you didn't throw your back out, or you could tie one on the night before and still get up and, make it to work on time? Because I do. Barely. There's a lot of stuff coming up around the corner. We got the holidays really creeping up on us. It's almost October. Some of you guys already have your Christmas trees up. And if you don't, you already got your Halloween decorations up. I really hope you didn't carve those pumpkins because they're going to be rotten by next week. But there's a lot of stuff. Carving pumpkins, putting up these decorations, climbing up in your attics, doing all this stuff. You're going to have bumps, scrapes, bruises. Your feet are going to hurt. Your knees are going to hurt. Your arms are going to hurt. Your shoulders are going to hurt. You're going to have a headache. Plus, speaking of headaches, in-laws are coming to town. You got it all coming right now. So there's really no better time to start stock up on this stuff, guys. I mean, you're going to get your life back. You're going to get that pain-free life back. You'll be able to climb that ladder and not have any pain. You'll be able to play outside with your kids and not have to ice your knees for 3 hours. Like, you can actually have a semi-normal life. And all it takes is a little bit of roll on. It's something you just need to keep in your medicine cabinet. I mean, this is going forward. This is going to be everywhere. We launch, very excited to announce, in CBD Emporium Q1. We've established a fantastic relationship with those amazing, amazing people. I had the privilege of meeting the owner and buyers and some of their team, their headquarters element team in Vegas a few months ago, and they're just a class act, top to bottom. They treat everybody with respect. They know what they're doing. They do it right, and they sell a lot of CBD. And we are extremely, extremely excited to be joining them and getting into the mix. And I guess now's as good a time as any to announce we will be releasing a CBD flavored carbonated beverage, a variety of flavors, within the next couple of weeks. This will be available nationwide very, very quickly. So stay tuned. We will let you know where you can find that. Obviously, we'll have our website, but this one will be a very, very large big box retailer place. We'll be out there, and we have some other products you're going to be launching in some of the same stores that are not beverages, that are additives and stick packs and powders and capsules and all kinds of fun stuff there. And there's another project I'm working on I can't wait to tell you about, but I cannot tell you about it yet. All I can tell you is that in the next couple of weeks, I'll start dropping little hints. But this is a cool one. We're excited about this one. Should supplement a lot of things that are going on right now. And yeah, I can't wait to share it with you guys. So anyway, we've gone over a little long and really haven't said a whole lot. I just wanted to jump back in, remind you guys, to keep your heads up, to be nice to each other. We are in unprecedented times, but it does not mean you have to have an unprecedented attitude. Be a good human being. I think that's something that we all could really afford to work on. It's not a difficult thing to do. And it's actually harder to be mean to somebody. I mean, literally, you have to make a decision to be happy, and you have to make a decision to be not happy. So why not pick happy? Why not be kind? Why not show love? What do you gain out of being an asshole? If you feel good for being an asshole, well, DM me and let's talk. Because I've been an asshole the majority of my life. But I'll also tell you it never got me anywhere. And I'll tell you where it did get me. So I just challenge you guys. I mean, we're about to go into the holidays. Have the best holidays you've had. Don't let this crap affect you. Don't let this crap get to you. Just do your best to be as good of a human being as you can. Help people. Go out of your way. Don't film it. Do things because of the right things. Do things that are the right things when nobody's watching. I love that people are going out and helping the homeless, but leave your fucking camera at home. You shouldn't be doing that to get the recognition. You should be doing that to help somebody. I don't tell you when I donate to charity. I don't tell you when I help somebody. It's like Greg Popovich of the Spurs. You start talking to people, you hear all these stories about how he helped somebody change a tire or bought them a new car or paid off their student loans, or, there's a variety of Spurs that have done that. And they don't tell. In fact, they tell the people that they did it for not to tell anybody. That's the place that we all need to come from. It's not advantageous for us to continue acting like this. So stop. Hug your neighbor, dude. We are all the same people. We bleed red. We breathe oxygen. We don't have to be hateful people. We don't have to rip this place apart. I guess that's just about all I have to say. I just that, continue prayers. I don't know if I will be back again before I have to have surgery, but if not, I'll either do one from the hospital. That'd be funny, or I'll wait till I get back. Probably wait till I get back. Anyhow, thank you for those of you who actually jumped in, and those of you who will watch this a little bit later. But we're back for now, and lots and lots and lots of things about to pop off. So keep your eye out if you're on our email list. If you're not, go to 911rollon.com and click save 15%. You can enter your email address and your name. That'll give you 15% off of your first purchase. And it'll always also allow you to receive special promotions and offers that we run. We will not spam you to death. We try to keep things purposeful and intentional and not off the beaten path. So we're not going to send you an email every time it's Taco Tuesday or whatever. I don't even know what the other days are because I don't care. But we're not going to do that crap. If we have something to say, we'll say it. If we have an offer to make, we'll make it. And we just want to be able to offer you, exclusive deals as early as possible so that, you have first dibs before we run out of product. So anyway, I appreciate all of you tuning in for how you have. I hope you have a fantastic week. Make this one a good one. Like as always, if you have questions or something after the fact, like please hit me up because I like to circle back on this stuff. And if I missed anything or if I grazed over anything that's of interest to you, I'd love to finish. So thanks so much. You guys have a great week.